Hey there troopers, Dan here, back with another video on the RS Prop Masters A&H Stunt replica helmet. So as I've said in other videos, you can now see it is a white looking helmet with some of the grey painted. It is fully resprayed, so you can see there's bits of red and green in there because it is designed to look like an original PP or HDPE helmet. So as I say, it's a mock-up of the original paint job. So here we go. I'm going to do a bit more on the grey because some of it, I'm not sure whether you can see it in the light here, but this is the first coat and it's a little bit patchy in places. So just to explain for anyone that doesn't know, with the original Trilogy Stormtroopers, all of these detailing, like here on the frown, the tears and the traps around here are all painted with a Humbrol number 5 gloss, which is this grey colour, and that also includes the ears. Some of this may look a little bit messy at the moment, but that will get tidied up with today's second coat, but also when we put the black outline around a lot of the detailing. So I'm going to go on to it from here. As I say, it's Humbrol number 5 gloss, which is then the closest colour we're aware of to the original helmets. I'm using quite a wide brush for this because it is quite a large area. So some areas have been quite patchy from that first coat, so I just want to give it a bit of extra. Personally, I don't mind going a little bit thicker with the paint because, again, the originals are very much hand painted, so as long as it doesn't look well, ugly. And so I like to give it a nice wide brush on here, and then that means you don't get too much in terms of the brush strokes when you're going over things too many times. So there we go, that's one of the traps done. Just going to work my way around the helmet. Some of it came off quite well actually in the first coat, but as I say, other areas are a little bit on the thin side, the patchy side. As always, check your reference photos for the best way to paint these. I get most of mine from either whitearmor.net in the gallery, the image gallery, or one of the best Star Wars websites that's out there, starwarshelmets.com. All one word, starwarshelmets.com. And that is an amazing resource for stormtroopers, but also other characters. But obviously my main interest in the last 5 years or so has been stormtroopers. Original Trilogy Stormtroopers. There we go, that's coming on quite nicely. This one's a little bit patchy as well. Again, I don't quite know how the light's picking up. It's not great. This video, by the way, is just a bit of a precursor to when I add the Satin Black, which is Humbrol 85, I do believe. If I'm wrong, then Editing Dan will put a little note on screen. That's the good thing. Camera Dan can make mistakes, and then Editing Dan comes along afterwards and corrects me. Much like my wife, really. If I get things wrong, my wife can always correct me. Right, this one's coming on quite nicely. This is nothing new. I'm sure lots of people do this, and I've also seen, now obviously I have been doing these helmets for a while, but that doesn't mean I don't stop learning. And I found that when Simon from RS Prop Masters did his videos to go along with Rob's build videos, so Rob did the how to build a stormtrooper videos, and then Simon did the painting a stormtrooper video, and that was really interesting. It's good to get sort of additional techniques or just learn anything really about these wonderful helmets. And much like Simon, I tend to use either, you can see here I'm balancing my little finger on the helmet, so I've got my knuckle on there so that I can paint onto the surface, and you're basically steadying yourself with other parts of your body. And obviously remember, as you're painting these things and you turn it round, just try and remember which parts are wet. So again, I'm going around the helmet, I know that I've just done that I've done, this one I've done, so I know those are wet, so I'm just working my way round. I've got one hand inside the helmet, and then of course the other hand painting the helmet. I'm a lefty, so of course I'm painting with my left hand. I'm keeping my arm well away from that wet paint over there. So again, just think of little things like that when you're doing your paint. Again, I've now got slightly bad lighting actually, which is a bit silly given that I've actually put lights up. But here we go, balancing my hand, trying to get that down there. There we go. I'd say as well, don't be too afraid of these helmets if you're hand painting it. It does look best if you hand paint it because it looks more like the originals. But if you don't have a steady hand, then there are some fantastic decals or stickers, whatever you want to call them, out there that are designed to look like they're hand painted. And if you apply them well, then of course they can look very nice. As I say, I prefer to hand paint, but I do have a reasonably steady hand. Not perfect, but it's not bad. And I just keep practicing. I can't remember how many helmets I've built now, but it's quite a few. Just realised how much I don't ever stop talking either, but never mind. Right, this is a bit of a tricky one sometimes, I find. Let's try and decide which part of the brush to use. There we go, just gently push down on the brush so that the lowest bristles reach where I want it to. You push too hard and they're going to sort of pop off into places you didn't expect. There we go, that's looking quite nice. This second coat is actually a lot easier once your other coat is on there and it's dried. Try and get in here a little bit. This isn't the best brush for getting into the tiers because these are an odd shape, of course. So I'm just going to gently tidy this up. Again, just balancing my hand. This is actually quite even paint in here anyway, thankfully. But as I say, I just want to give it that extra coat. Once the whole thing is done and painted, unless it was really patchy, you're not really going to see it anyway. But there we go, it's coming on nicely. Try and get some nice light on that. Again, remember where you have or haven't painted. I've still got one tier to go. Just checking whether this actually needs anything. I think it does. Got a little tiny bit of liquid mask in there. Yeah, there we go. This isn't actually too bad a brush for this. Just give that a once over. Again, really doesn't need a lot because the first coat was quite heavy. When I say first coat, it's wet and you paint it. And then with me, I normally paint over it again quite quickly. I don't necessarily wait hours and hours and hours for it to dry, but I sort of layer it up a little bit, and thankfully it's still come out quite nicely. This ear is always a bit of a funny one. It's a bit of an odd shape. I believe it's where the mould went a bit funny. There's a little odd shape at the end here, so this ear is a bit rounder in its appearance. The other ear is more sort of square edges, more rectangular. Got a bit of a dip in there. Can I get the brush in? Yes. Again, just little fine details. This part here will be edged off anyway with a black outline. So again, I'm not too fussed about that. And let's just check, are there any areas of the frown that need a little bit? Yes, a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Now, the frown is an interesting one, and I'll tell you why once I've stopped concentrating. I can't talk and uber concentrate at the same time. Right, let's put my brush down for a second and talk about, without getting my hands on the paint, talk about the vocoder paint. And also the vocoder generally. I don't mean vocoder, I mean frown. Let's talk about the frown here, the bit with the holes cut out. Every now and again I do see, and this is not meant to be a criticism, but some troopers, they take out way too much of here when they're getting their either a Dremel or some sort of file, and they take away all the thickness out of these teeth. Now personally I just don't like the look of it. This, I've tried to match this up as much as I can to Simon's helmet, and that means that it does have that area of depth to it. Again, if you sand away too much of that, you file away too much of that, you do lose that sort of 3D appearance. You lose the depth, the chunkiness of those teeth. So again, personally, I leave a bit of detail, a bit of depth, sorry, in there. And also as well, I'd say the paint, if you look on here, I don't go all the way necessarily across the tooth. Now you can, because some helmets do have that done all the way top to bottom. But like here, for example, there's a little gap between the paint and where the tooth actually meets this part, the bridge of the nose, I suppose you might call that. And again, just look at your reference photos to see how far you want to take it. As always, most of the A&H stunt helmets have this little gap where there's an undrilled tooth, an undrilled hole, and the paint kind of skips that. Same on both sides, but again, not every helmet was like that. Some of them, they painted right across it, and there's the odd A&H stunt helmet where there's actually the fifth hole is drilled out. So again, they all vary slightly. But anyway, I think that's going to cover it for now. That is then, as I say, Humbrol number 5 grey, which is this one here, enamel Humbrol number 5, to paint the traps, the tears, the ears, and the frown. And next, as I say, we will be moving on to painting the satin black, which is satin number 85, and that'll be on the vocoder and various other detailings. So thanks for watching this bit, and I'll catch you in the next part.